All right, today we're going to unlock a little secret to sounding more like a native English speaker. We're going to look at 6 essential idioms you can start using right away to make your conversations feel just, well, more natural.
Does this feel a little familiar to you? You know the grammar, you've got the vocabulary, but your sentences still come out a bit rigid, almost like you're reading from a book. Believe me, it's a super common feeling.
Well, the good news is there's a fantastic way to break out of that. We're going to go through 6 really common idioms that native speakers use all the time without even thinking. Getting a handle on these is going to give your English that natural, fluent flow you're looking for.
Okay, first up, let's look at 3 expressions for just navigating everyday life. I mean, think about it. You need ways to check in on progress, make quick decisions, and talk about those times when you just get sidetracked. These idioms have got you covered. So far, so good. This is the perfect phrase to use when you're in the middle of a task and someone pops their head in and asks how it's going. It's a really positive and short way to say, yep, everything's on track at this moment.
Yeah, imagine a stressful situation like an exam, a huge project, or maybe just putting together some new furniture. If someone asks how it's going and things are actually proceeding smoothly, this is your perfect go-to phrase.
All right, next up, let's talk about might as well. This idiom is all about those simple, low-stakes decisions. It's for those moments when you kind of just shrug and think, well, why not? There might not be a super strong reason to do it, but there's really no good reason not to either.
This is a classic example, right? You've already ruined your bedtime. So what's the harm in staying up just a little longer for something cool like a sunrise? You might as well. Or imagine your plans get canceled. You could say, well, we're already all dressed up. We might as well go get dinner somewhere else.
Okay, this next one is for anyone who has ever gotten really sucked into an activity. To lose track of something usually means you were so focused, so busy, or so distracted that you just forgot to keep an eye on it. Whether that's an object, a person, or, most of the time itself.
This is absolutely the most common way you'll hear this used. You look up from your computer and suddenly it's dark outside. You were so deep in your work that hours just vanished without you even noticing. You completely lost track of time. It happens to all of us. Now, let's get into our next set of idioms. You know, life isn't always smooth sailing, and these expressions are perfect for navigating those trickier moments, like when you need to say you're not feeling great, or admit that something's a real challenge, or declare an urgent priority. To be out of sorts. I love this one. It's such a great, subtle way to describe that feeling when you're just off. You're not actually sick, but you're not 100% either. Maybe you're a little grumpy, a bit tired, or just feeling blah. It's a very natural way to explain that kind of mood.
And this is where it's so useful in social situations. It's the perfect way to apologize or explain your attitude if you've been a little short with someone. It gently lets them know that your mood isn't about them. You're just having an off day.
Ah, a true classic. This idiom perfectly captures that huge gap between theory and practice. We use it when someone gives advice that sounds so simple but is actually incredibly difficult to pull off. It's a way of acknowledging the real complexity of a situation. I mean, think about common advice like, just relax on your first date. The advice itself is simple, right? But the reality of actually doing it can be super hard. So responding with easier said than done is the perfect way to show you get the advice, but you also recognize the real-world challenge.
And our last idiom for today is all about pure determination and priority. When you say you have to do something at all costs, you're making it clear that it's completely non-negotiable. Obstacles, difficulty, expense, none of that is allowed to get in the way. You will hear this a lot in high-stakes professional settings. It completely removes any doubt. The deadline becomes the one and only priority, and the team has to do whatever it takes to meet it. It's a really strong, serious expression.
So there you have it, 6 powerful idioms. But don't think of these as just a list to memorize. Think of them as a practical new toolkit that you can use to build more natural-sounding English.
Let's just do a super quick recap. Remember, we have so far so good for those positive progress reports, might as well for those simple why not decisions, to lose track of for when you get completely absorbed in something, to be out of sorts for describing those off days. Easier said than done to acknowledge a tough challenge, and finally, at all costs, for when something is absolutely critical. Each one has its own perfect situation.
Okay, so we've broken down the what and the why, but honestly, the most important part of this whole thing is what you do next.
And here's the most important takeaway. Knowing these idioms is great, but fluency only comes from using them. That jump from passive knowledge to active use, that is where the real magic happens. So don't be afraid to try them out.
So think about your week ahead. Is there a project where you can say, so far so good? Maybe you think you'll feel a bit out of sorts after a long day. Pick one, just one, and make a plan to use it in a real conversation. That's how you'll truly make these your own.